You just took a loss, and something in your chest went hot. Not sad, hot, angry. And before the feeling even has a name, your hand is already moving to the next trade. This one won't be a plan. It'll be a punch, thrown at the market to get your money back, right now. That trade has a name, and it is the single most expensive trade you will ever make. It is not a bad decision. It is revenge. Poker players discovered this failure mode long before traders had a word for it. They call it tilt. Tilt is what happens when a loss stops being information and becomes an insult, and you start playing to get even instead of playing to play well. The tilted player and the tilted trader are the same animal, the same flush of heat, the same collapse of judgment, the same urge to make it back on the very next hand. Revenge trading is simply tilt with leverage attached. And the moment you are on it, the thinking part of your brain has already left the table. This is not a metaphor, and it is not a weakness of character. It is a documented clinical pattern. In the psychiatric manual used to diagnose gambling disorder, one of the defining criteria is this. After losing money, the person often returns another day to get even, lead. That is the textbook definition of chasing losses, and it is one of the 9 criteria clinicians use, 4 or more, and it is a recognized disorder. Sit with that. The exact behavior behind revenge trading has a page in the diagnostic manual. You are not broken, and you are not stupid. You are running a wiring so common, it has a clinical name.
After losing money, the person often returns another day to get even.
And when researchers went looking for what actually predicts the damage, tilt sat right at the center of it. In a 2020 study of online poker players, 2 things stood out as the real predictors of problem gambling: how often a player tilted and how distorted their thinking became. Together, those 2, tilt and cognitive distortion, accounted for close to half of the variance in problem gambling scores. Nearly half of the damage traced back to the heat. Now, be careful with that number. It is one study of a few hundred players. Treat it as a strong signal, not a law of nature. But the direction is unmistakable. The thing that ruins people is not the loss. It is what the loss does to their mind.
Tilt and distorted thinking predicted about half of the damage.
So here is the belief we're going to put to the assay. The one that lives inside every revenge trade. Get it back. You'll hear a tidy statistic thrown around. That tilt costs a trader somewhere between 20 and 60% of their edge. It sounds precise. It sounds researched. And when you strike it, it cracks. Because there is no primary source for that number. Anywhere. It is folklore wearing a lab coat. But watch what's underneath the crack. The damage is real. It's the neat percentage that's invented. The instinct to get it back doesn't cost you a measurable fraction of your edge. On a bad enough day, it costs you all of it.
Tilt costs you 20 to 60% of your edge.
To understand why, you have to understand what the loss becomes inside you. Jim Paul lost over $1 million and a 15-year career in one position, and he wrote the definitive book on it, What I Learned: Losing $1 Million. His central finding: there are as many ways to make money as there are people in the markets, but only a few ways to lose it. And the deadliest is this. You take a loss of money, which is external, and you press it into your chest as a loss of self, a verdict on whether you are smart, whether you are right, whether you are enough. The moment the loss becomes about you, the next trade is no longer a trade. It is a bet on your own ego. And that is the exact bet revenge is placed with.
There are many ways to make money, but only a few ways to lose it.
Once the loss is personal, it does not stay one loss. You size up to get it back faster. The bigger trade loses too, and now the wound is deeper, and the next size is bigger still. Judgment shrinks exactly as the stakes grow. One loss becomes the next 10, each hotter and more reckless than the last. This is the spiral, and its cruelty is that every step feels like fighting back, while it is actually the market pulling you under. Nobody blows up an account on their first loss. They blow it up on the revenge for it. History's greatest speculator knew every word of this, and it killed him anyway. Jesse Livermore made and lost 4 separate fortunes across 40 years, pioneering ideas traders still use today. He wrote iron rules: never hold a losing position, chief among them, and then, again and again, broke them when the heat took over. The man who wrote the rules could not force himself to obey them. He went bankrupt 4 times, and the gap between what he knew and what he could do consumed him. Knowing the lesson is not the same as being able to hold it while your chest is hot. That is the whole problem. And this is where trading takes people that nobody in the highlight reels talks about. There is a former Chicago pit trader known as Pax, who at his peak was 10% of the volume in his market, until his ego took over and it all came apart. He has spoken openly about the dark places trading takes people to. The blow-up, the collapse, the long climb back. What he rebuilt on was not a hotter, harder version of willpower. It was the opposite. Process, daily routine, and confronting the ego had got him there. The way out was never to fight the heat harder. It was to stop bringing the decision into the heat at all. Because here is the trap most advice walks straight into. Just have more discipline. Strike that idea and it cracks too. You cannot out-discipline a hijacked brain. In a tilted state, the very part of you that would exert willpower is already compromised. Jared Tendler, who coaches traders on exactly this, puts it differently. Emotions, like tilt, are not enemies to suppress. They are signals, Flags pointing at an underlying flaw you can fix at the root. Fighting the feeling in the moment is a fight you will lose, because by the time you feel it, you have already lost. So the answer is not more willpower. The answer is to make the decision somewhere the heat can't reach it.
Just have more discipline.
Which brings us to the single most powerful rule in Jim Paul's book, and the whole cure. In one line, decide the loss you are willing to take before you ever enter the trade. When your exit is set in advance, cold, in writing, before a single dollar is at risk, the tilted version of you has nothing left to decide. The choice was already made by someone calmer, you, 5 minutes ago. This is not a mantra. It is a mechanism. You are physically removing the most important decision from the moment you are least fit to make it. The professional does not resist the heat. He arranges his life so the heat arrives too late to matter.
Know your exit before you enter.
So build the rule that fires without you. After a defined loss, a number you set today, not in the moment, you step away. Screen off, hands off, done for the day. Non-negotiable. Notice what this does. It never asks you to be strong while you're tilted. It just asks you to obey a rule you wrote while you were calm. The rule decides. You only have to keep the promise. A circuit breaker doesn't argue with the current. It just cuts it. You have met this voice before. It is the flinch, the same reflex around the pain of a loss. In its cowardly form, the flinch makes you flee the pain. In its aggressive form, it makes you attack, get even, hit back, make the market pay. Fleeing and revenge look like opposites, but they are the same animal wearing two faces. Both are you refusing to simply accept the loss. The professional never silences that voice either. He just stops letting it place trades. And there is one daily rep that drains its power a little more each time. At the end of the session, write the heat down. Name the moment you tilted, what it felt like, what it whispered. Tendler's method is exactly this. Map the pattern, find the root beneath it, and correct it there. Because a tilt you can name on paper is a signal decoded, not a fire you have to fight. The anger you record tonight has less grip on you tomorrow. You are not suppressing it, you are studying it. You do not beat tilt in the heat of the moment. You beat it, slowly, in the cold hours afterward, one honest page at a time. So here is your charge. The next time a loss goes hot in your chest and the voice says, get it back, recognize it. That is tilt. That is the flinch. Armed. Do not throw the punch. Step away from the screen. Trust the exit you set while you were calm, and write it down tonight. You want to get even with the market. This is how. You get even by refusing to. The trader who cannot stop chasing will, sooner or later, chase his account to zero. The one who lets the loss stay a loss is the one still standing to trade tomorrow.